My name's Tom. I've been an industrial worker for about 45 years. Been active in the Terrance Franklin Committee, going to the demonstrations and meetings. I think it's real important to get a little more clear on who we are and who our enemies are. It's a fact. In 1934, the situation of working people in the city of Minneapolis were horrible. There were no unions to speak of. And there was a big rebellion. It began with the truck drivers in the warehouses. A gigantic rebellion to organize a union, to have the right to have a union. When they were at the verge of victory, the police department opened up point blank on the strikers. They killed 2 strikers and wounded, I don't know, remember the exact figure, 20 or 30, birdshot. Virtually all of them were Caucasian or Indian, whatever, okay? That night, hearing the news, the chief of police went out to dinner, got himself the fanciest dinner he could get, and got himself, apple pie, ice cream a la mode, brandy, a cigar, and the works to celebrate. We got to get more clear. Like Malcolm X would say, is not treating our enemy like they were a friend. They are racist. About this Green Bay thing. They said to the Green Bay cops, you guys got a problem. These Minneapolis cops said, because you got an N-loving police department in Green Bay. You got a black police department for decades over in St. Paul, and they organize what's it called? Racial profiling. They are racist to the boot, but they are also an instrument to hold down working people. How many rich people have been subject to police brutality? It is a class thing.
Or one.
None. When they get arrested, Watergate or something like that, you know where they go? They got special prisons that are country clubs, golfing and things like that. Am I right? Am I talking turkey?
And they don't get the death penalty, rich people.
They are not our... And one thing that Mel said I think is wrong. They're not our cops. You can't fire your cops. If they're your cops, you can fire them. That's why we have to organize the demonstrations. That's why we have to organize a massive fight. And our power is in the streets. Who's going to be the next mayor? That's not the big problem. The problem is, are we going to build a big enough demonstration on August 17th that's massive enough to really put like Malcolm said, you got to speak French to somebody who speaks French. All these people understand is power. And we've got to organize out our power. How come Jim Crow segregation was ended in the South? Massive demonstrations, millions of people in the streets. How come slavery was upended? You had the abolition movement, and you had a giant demonstration with guns. It was called the Civil War. Am I right?
That's right.
Okay, we got to counter their power. Their function is very simple. They're a tool of the wealthy to hold us down, working people, make us work for very little money, and make them beaucoup money. That's their function. That's who they are. Look at it plain in the eye. They are racist, but they're also to hold down all the working people. So we want to appeal to all the working people. So Latinos like Ivan Romero, who was run over by the cops the same day. We want to, Fong Lee is right over here in North Minneapolis, gunned down by the cops. And you talk to them among them, they know about the case. So we want to reach out very, very broadly to working people. Black, brown, whatever, the union people and so forth. And get into the artists and the preachers and the churches as well. And organize something very powerful on August 17th. And we can push them back. If we don't push them back, shame on us. They will take more advantage of us. They'll be more racist and more... We got a question to answer. How come not Terrance Franklin, Lucas Patterson got 3 commendations, Cop of the Year. He's many commendations for his great audacity. He's cops that cost the city of Minneapolis $700,000 in fines. How come there hasn't been a single cop prosecuted?
That's right.
In the last 15 years, to anybody's knowledge.
They must be all good.
Because the superiors who run the department have to have all kinds of dirty cops, if not all the cops are dirty, in order to hold us down.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so we got to organize something very, very powerful. There's power in numbers. That's who we are. We're working people. Okay, so we ought to organize something very, very massive on August 17th and throughout. One last point, and that is, this is not going to be over simply through big demonstrations. We went around Amadou Diallo and some other big fights in the last 20 years. But we've got to talk about building a movement of working people independent of the Democrat and Republican parties that has power in the streets, power in striking and things like that, that's powerful enough to challenge the wealthy for power, a revolutionary movement in this country.